Preparing.
And we're good. Now we're on Facebook. We tried on my channel. Now we're on Legio. We had some issues with Zoom doing two-factor authentication nowadays. So we're figuring that out and fixed it. We are just going through our normal ladder drills. Today was cardio day, so we're burning through everything. Get back into shape. A lot of people had time off over Penzic. We got some new folks with us as well. So we're trying to help through that. So remember, in this jab step, this can be used in a lot of different ways. You can jab and punch as a check shot to see what your opponent does. If he auto throws, you probably know he's a counter shooter. Bang, back, bang, back. You can time this. You can put a sword in your hand and time it. Hey.
1 second. We dropped out. You got to jump back in the meeting.
Oh,
sorry. Sorry, Vim. Just give a second.
You're fine. I had to mute myself. I got a cat fight going out in the timber next to me.
Yeah, coming back. Same thing. Yeah. So what happens? So here's my. If I lift this, I fall in. Yep. If I lift this, I fall off. That's all driven by the hip. You notice I didn't push. I don't have to do anything. And then right into that. Yep. Fall in. All I'm doing is sticking my hip and pointing my hip into that angle. Okay. And you'll fall into those angles. Oh, interesting.
How do we unlock it?
I've never seen it actually get locked.
Oh, I see a lock button. Try it again.
Try it again. He unlocked.
But that's weird. I don't know why it did that.
Yeah. Okay, you're on. Oh, you were on.
All right. We're going to try this one more time.
Yeah.
I think it's because he went through all of this stuff.
That's
like,
yeah. It redid. Yes, exactly. Go ahead. Yeah. There you go. Good. Turn it around. All right.
And spotlighted. All right.
Glistening. You are glistening.
And
no, it is sweating. That's okay.
All right. So I think we were already broadcasting, right?
we are still broadcasting.
We're still broadcasting. So again, on this idea, so right now Saib is doing. So you did the jab step with both feet, right? You can do that jab step if you want. You just switch on the other side of the ladder so you know where your foot is. Try to put it by a ladder run. You can even use those ladder runs as what you're stepping on with the other foot. You want to do this both ways. Again, at any given time, you can switch feet. The more comfortable you are with feet, the different ranges that you can present your opponent, more thought that goes into their head. And you don't have to think about your feet anymore. Most people do things with one foot so much that they have to change to the other, they lose that ability to do it without thought. There we go.
We have longer gear for small people that might want to borrow, or I assume someone their way that needs small people gear.
We could look through our stuff. So I was going through this before. I think everybody heard most of it. This is the idea. Let me grab somebody. Guillaume, grab this. Stand right in front of me, right here. So again, the idea is if I'm outside with Guillaume, I could just right, and I could see what he does. So I'm hitting on that check shot. So he pulls his hand down. I know that this may be next time check bang, right? Because I learned something. If Guillaume looks like he's ready to shoot, I might just come in with a check shot and then fall back out. So to take his offense away, he has to go back into defense. Mine goes back into defense, and it frees me up. We're about done. Yeah. You want to switch the audio to your phone now?
Not quite.
Okay.
We got a little bit left.
So that's how we use that. And again, I can switch this up. Now all of a sudden my range is a little longer. Guillaume's not feeling as comfortable, and I can put some stuff over. Then sorry guys, I'm gonna switch hands. So now I can throw that check shot and a back again, and a back again, and then I increase range. So look at this, gives you opportunity to break offense from your opponent, gives you opportunity to read what your opponent's gonna do without actually worrying about engagement and them hitting you. So this is very much, you can do that same thing with a stomp step. This is just, hey, and we're just doing it. This foot actually stays because you're going to bring it back. So all we're doing is step, bring it back. All right, so that changes a little bit of range. It brings I'm out here. My opponent's a little relaxes a little bit because he feels comfortable. And then he in that case, he pulled back. So in a pullback scenario, if he does that same thing again, bang, because it's shield and body pulls back. He pulls that shield up. And what happens is, here I am, see that everything shifts up, that leg opens. But that's what you're learning from doing these exercises. And we don't have to think about that step or how to execute that step. We just do it. All right, long jab. Saib already did them. I'm gonna make Saib do them again.
What?
Long jab
Long
step.
jab.
Okay, long jab. So this one, the point is we're doing a larger step forward to close that ground and then a small one back to kind of get out of range from a return or just because we were scaring them and then get back to a happy range.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yep.
That's what I aim for. Not everyone can do that, so really we just emphasize
Oh,
bigger forward, smaller backward. And then forward.
No problem. That's the idea. So again, the good part about this step is you can learn how to really reach it out as you get it. So you can really, as you get better and better at understanding where your body is, the longer. So for my first step might be 2 rungs. I'm right on that rung and I'm back 1 rung. My next step might be a rung and a half. And then I'm back. Now that time my back foot slid out. That means what happened here is I was pushing, but I have to just push at a better point in that. You're going to get this because there's a push off that back foot now. And my balance is here. I don't have as much weight on that foot. That foot's going to slide a little. Just be aware of how that works.
So be careful about reaching for your steps. Make sure your center's between your feet or you'll slide.
And then, push off with the back at the end.
Careful with the lean too.
Yeah,
Careful,
you don't want to.
leaning is
Right. Again, it's your hips are leaning, you're leaning, and then just as you're falling, you're pushing.
And you almost want both feet to land at the same time so you have more control. So again, you don't slide. Because if you land on that front foot, it is in front of you. And you have potential to slide if it's wet or really dry.
We're taking our entire vertical stack of heavy body parts from hips up to head and sliding it forward together
That's right.
instead of leaning in. Good catch on my wording.
And you can do this backwards the same way.
And
So the reason why you would do this backwards is I might be in a position where somebody's attacking me. I might push and then shift way back here and then come back. Because if I just shift way back, if I'm here and I push and I shift way back, they're going to follow me. Right? So what might happen here is I push, shift back, and then all of a sudden I change that distance.
all right, last one is turning step. It's got like 8 varieties that we all know by now. So I'm going to say pick your least favorite foot to put forward.
Wait. Switch step. Everyone loves a switch step.
Oh, I forgot because I never actually added it to the list on the whiteboard. Switch step. Just kidding. We'll be turning step next. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Love the switch. And this actually, it was funny because Ron Guller's like, why would you use this? This is dumb.
Yeah, we had that
Guess
conversation.
who uses it
Yeah.
now?
Talking about where it's useful.
What he is correct about is you're probably not going to stand there and repeatedly.
But when they
But
stop,
one can be very useful.
Yeah, and I see it a lot in like some kickboxing, Thai boxing. That switch step changes distances so fast your opponent has to pay attention to it. Now we're gonna do the turning step.
The last one is turning step. So pick your least favorite foot to put forward and do that one with your front foot and back foot step. So I'm starting with my front foot step.
Good. Try to make this nice and smooth. Try to roll your hips forward and then smooth and turn your hips and roll them forward again. Think of this all hip first and let your feet just follow you.
Since I stepped with my front foot last time, I'll step with my back foot first. I'm doing right from forward. That's my least favorite foot.
So I'll show you the first one here. Take your normal stance. We're gonna do the back foot. Think about pushing your forward step and rotate back into position. Then same thing, point down the ladder,
Always put on this side.
always pointing down the ladder.
The foot in the back.
Yeah, in this position. We'll change that later. But yeah. Yeah, point it down the other way down the ladder.
So.
Point, the toes go down the left.
turning is there.
Nope, that was a forward. So always the back foot.
So-
Yeah, and that should go to back. So you see how you're switching your stance?
Okay, got it. So I'm
Don't
trying to
switch your
put my
stance.
on. Okay.
Yeah, don't switch your stance.
Is there another one?
So you have to watch your timing here. Goes down the ladder, back foot. This is a short step with a
Okay,
recovery. So
recovery.
watch your short step.
Okay.
Then back up.
Short step, and then there you go. Good. Now lean that hip. Back foot points the other. See, that's the reverse, which is one.
Okay.
But instead, try to always point down to the ladder. There
So,
you go.
Going that
Point
way.
that foot down. Yeah. There
so
we go.
some
Now
tips
back
on
foot.
this
There we go.
are to keep that,
Okay, so I'm flipping it because I'm moving to the other side.
Exactly.
some tips are to
back
keep
foot,
that
Yep.
middle transition foot
Good.
pointing in the direction you're traveling.
Hips on that. Right down
Also to stay on the balls of your feet
Your hips are actually controlling
and work
that
on your balance.
and hit switch. So they got
And then
that hard
try and keep your center floating at the constant height.
Uh-huh.
And Vim, since you know these, feel free to run through all 8 variants if you want while we're
And then the
working
next
through it
one,
with multiple
Use
people.
your front foot. I have been down the ladder.
There's more than 8 now.
Oh,
Right.
what,
And now
what
this
else
time
did you
hit your step
find?
is different. It'll be larger.
The one we did
Front
last
foot
week.
here, bang, and it just rolls. Bang, rolls, right?
Now we think about this as a pivot on the front.
Yep,
foot.
exactly.
Right foot back, left foot forward.
Left foot back, right foot forward.
Why? Why? I don't do that. No.
Sorry. But out of those 8,
Why you do this to me?
out of those 8, there's about 4 of those switching that make a lot of. So there's like maybe 12. You added some on.
I'd say maybe 10 to 20% of this stuff Rick and I used to work on. And a lot of it is variations on that technique.
It's all right in there, right?
That last one is something we did all.
Just a pivot step.
So that's ladder drills.
Oh, thank you, Ron Galler. That's it. And of course, you can do those both feet, and then you can do them backwards. So instead of pointing your foot down the ladder that way, we point it down the other way. So we can do these backwards. So,
The advantage of that being pointing it on the front.
so those are the ladder drills. We're just going to, just because there's mostly going to be cardio and get back to making sure everything works today. One thing I want to bring up that I did see at Penzic, and actually in an event.
You made me the host. And you got muted.
Okay.
We
Had
can,
computer
we can-
died.
we can hear you now.
Audio. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Can you get it to the speaker, Bluetooth?
I don't know. I'll try.
While she is working on that Bluetooth, what I'm going to cover is intent. So,
What is that thing called?
Sound
We
cord.
lost the ladder cam.
That's because I'm doing Bluetooth menu trying to find it.
Fair enough.
I don't see it as an available device.
Oh, interesting.
You might have to like turn Bluetooth pairing mode back on. I don't know.
Let me turn it off and on again. Oh, wait, here, maybe it doesn't work. Okay, try it now.
Soundcore. Pairing. Couldn't connect.
Oh, interesting.
Trying again.
Still blinking.
Couldn't connect.
I'm going to turn it off and on. Might still have like my computer grabbing it or something.
Or your phone.
Or phone or, okay.
The one guy that hit me, he came up to me after, like, the archer, and he's like,
See, I have something connected to that time. I bet you my phone's connecting to it out of the back.
Probably.
All right.
You gotta turn Bluetooth off on your phone.
I got turned. Yeah, 1 second.
Phones.
Hate them.
Why is Bluetooth so stupid? Why is all technology stupid? Dear IT guy, why is the technology bad?
I'm not going to be an IT guy forever.
Because humans create it.
Because the technology is bad. That's why you're gonna quit.
All right, there we go. That's off.
Oh,
Now let me turn this on. But it's blinking now, so maybe you can see it.
Yeah, now I can pair with it.
All right. I hear it. Okay. So intent. Let her get back to video. Yeah, I am. I can hear him.
Yep.
All right. So what I saw in intent, and it's happened yesterday as well, is lots of people go into the fight and they just think, okay, I'm standing here waiting for my opponent to do something so I can do something. I'm testing every once in a while, but I'm gonna let my opponent still try to do stuff. I'm following my opponent. So if side moves one way or the other, I'm following. I'm half beat behind. Even with intent, if I'm waiting for side to look like she's gonna start throwing, so now I'm behind because I'm half a beat behind because I'm waiting for something. The key on intent has nothing to do with your opponent. It's all about you. Your job, and I'll adjust that conversation in a sec, but your job is to apply all the good skills you have. In other words, I'm just gonna keep working on stuff, and I'm watching and reacting and seeing what my opponent does to all the stuff I'm working. Hey, but I'm applying the intent. I'm not waiting. Now we could be fighting for it. In a little bit of that, there was a couple of spots where she did something before and I had to react a little bit. So she took over intent for a second, or she'll just ignore my intent and apply her own. So now we're fighting for it here. So now we're fighting for who is actually controlling the bout. But we're fighting for who has ownership. If you're waiting for things, then you're waiting to get hit. Even if you're a counter shooter, if you're actually waiting for that shot to come from them to throw, then they can take advantage of counter shooting you. In other words, oh, you're a counter shooter. Here I am. Ha! Okay, there we go. I'm going to take advantage of it. So your goal would be to provide enough intent to make me shoot at you so that you're in the same time. So she might be still doing this and then I throw and then she's throwing. So just be aware, if you start waiting, then you may be in a bad place. And what happened yesterday is what I saw a lot of is a person would go in, they'd be moving when your opponent's moving. So they're moving. Oh, I'm moving just like my opponent. This is great. Look, I'm good at following. And then they go against a person that just moves straight back and forward. And they're like, oh, now I'm not using any of my good stuff anymore. So in this case, your opponent is literally controlling you. You're relying on your opponent to give you something. And that is not where you want to be. If this person's used to going straight back and forward, who do you think probably, that's their game. Who do you think probably might have better ownership of this game? You or them? Probably them. Or at least you're in a place where you're providing them their game, which they're going to be the best at. What you want to do is provide a game that they're not good at. So, you know, again, the big piece on this conversation is don't go in a fight and just watch your opponent enough that, okay, if they move sideways, then I'm going to move. Well, I'm a half beat behind already. Okay. Then they move the other way. Okay. So I can move feet, right? Or even, you know, here's another way we see that. They move one way. I pivot. They move the other way. I pivot, right? But I'm following. Watch what happens when they fake me moving one way. They're owning the fight. I have no ownership in that fight. You have to have ownership from the beginning. Way out here, I start. I don't care who they are. This is what I do. I start pushing on those corners, right?
Specifically this one.
Yes, exactly. So I start pushing on those corners, and that's I am starting to fight. I don't care who they are. So beware of that. That's the one piece. I literally mentioned it yesterday to somebody 2 or 3 times, a couple people, and they're so used to falling back into reading their opponent that they go back into their opponent's fight when they could have provided their own fight and gave them a better fight. So the one thing I want to make sure everybody knows today is bring your fight. Do not go in just reading what your opponent. I can be out here in a safe position and I could be creating stuff and I'm not even in the fight yet. Now I can see what I want to do.
But you're just wearing yourself out. You're just moving for the sake of moving.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the good part there is there's a lot of thought that happens in there. At points, the idea is I'm out here. Now I may add some thought in there to make them think a little bit. Oh, not sure where I'm going. See, now they're not sure. And I might close, you know, as soon as they walk back a little, I start closing that and they get even more unsure. Now, because they're moving back and I'm closing and they're like, whoa, wait, they're coming at me. What are they thinking about? They're thinking about responding to me. So I am controlling the fight.
Ronis, what do you do when your opponent comes out of the gate and is really aggressive? How do you keep your intent? They are pushing the fight forward.
So that same thing happens if your opponent gets super aggressive on you and you just fall into a fight and you're just reading them, you're really behind the 8 ball, right? So the idea is your opponent right at the beginning, step in here, and then at any time you get, change that line, right? And you're looking again, I'm looking for these outside lines and looking for opportunity. Again, also, you can throw that check shot. So they get really aggressive. So all of a sudden they tight, and then I move around the side. They have to respond to that. So now you've got a piece of the fight for just a second. And the more pieces you get, the more they will think, I was in a bad place. I was in a bad place. I was in a bad place. And you're degrading their confidence about moving forward. Even if you can't get the shot, you are actually still winning that fight. All right. So just be aware of that. I really wanted to bring that up. I thought it was going to be a good conversation for folks. Vim, I see you doing that a lot more now, which is really good. And especially in our last fight that you showed us. At the beginning, sometimes you were replying to people with speed and waiting for folks. In those last fights, when you went back to your old footwork a little bit, but added all the agility, I thought you started going back into your fight and pushing them. So it doesn't matter who they are. Don't go out and say, ooh, he has a lot of brass on that helmet. I have to, you know, I'm waiting to see what they do. Well, that's exactly what they want. You go out there, it's like, there's a lot of brass on that helmet. I can't wait to hit it. Right? I can't wait to show them that I am worthy of being counted their equal. So that's where we're trying to get to. And you know what? Even if you don't, they will appreciate your attempt to try to control a fight. Every meeting I go to, they're like, oh, they're not bad. You know, their defense is good, but they never took control of the fight. I hear that over and over and over again. So take control of the fight.
Tried.
Right?
So hard.
So
They weren't having it.
Vim, I hope that's a good reminder for you.
Oh yeah.
So take control of that fight. The earlier you're in their head, the more likely you're going to win it. All right, we're going to wrap it up. We got a few other people that want to get in armor and play. Vim, it was nice to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks again.
Yep.
And remember to keep getting video for us once you're out playing again.
Yep. I missed the last practice, but I'll get some video for you guys soon.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Facebook Lane.
I gotta go put armor on all sweaty.
Yes, but it's a good warm up, right? You know, this is what's really been helping.
Became the host.
And
We're gonna have to end the live stream for.
uh-oh.
Oh, I've got to end it?
Yeah, otherwise we're just gonna follow you around the house.
Okay, that'd be awesome. All right. You guys have a
All
good
right,
day.
thanks, Sam.